do physicists grapple with problems that stretch from the absolute smallest particles to the sheer vastness of a galaxy? It's not just about doing really hard math. It's about having a special way of thinking. So today, we're going to open up that very toolkit and pull out 4 essential tools that'll pretty much change how you see the world. Okay, let's just jump right in. Physics immediately throws these huge, almost absurd comparisons at us. You've got the mass of a whale and the mass of a mouse. The difference is staggering, right? We're talking a factor of 10,000. Your everyday intuition just breaks down. So how in the world do scientists manage to work with these mind-bendingly different scales? Well, it all comes down to having the right tools for the job.
So here's our game plan for building out that toolkit. First, we're going to master the art of the quick and dirty estimation. Then we'll see how basically all physical units are just built from the same few building blocks. After that, I'll show you a really powerful trick to check if your equations are even valid. And finally, we'll cover the universal grammar physicists use so everyone's on the same page. Let's get to it.
Our first tool is honestly one of the most powerful for just getting a real feel for physics: estimation. And look, this isn't about making wild guesses. It's a structured way to get into the right ballpark and, more importantly, to catch huge mistakes before you've wasted any time on them. The best way to think about order of magnitude is like a scientific GPS. Before you even start a big, complicated calculation, it tells you, hey, should your answer be in the hundreds, or the millions, or the billions? It's this super quick reality check that stops you from getting completely lost in the numbers. And here's the really cool part. You can make these huge estimates based on stuff you already know. I mean, you have a pretty good sense of an adult's mass, right? Say around 100 kilograms. Well, from there, you can start to reason your way to an elephant. Maybe an elephant is like 50 people. That gets you to 5,000 kilograms. See? You just made a totally reasonable scientific estimate without ever touching a scale. Let's try it with something simple. What's the mass of a jar of peanut butter? You can hold it in your hand. It's not super light, but it's not super heavy. A normal jar feels like it's about half a kilogram, right? Which is 500 grams. And if we put that into scientific notation, it's 5 times 10 to the power of 2. And that's it. You just made an order of magnitude estimate. Simple as that. Okay, so now that we have a feel for the scale of things, let's look at what the numbers are actually measuring. Our second tool is going to let us in on a really cool secret. Pretty much every single unit you'll ever see in physics is built from just a handful of simple ingredients. Now this is a real game changer. You hear units like newtons for force or joules for energy, and they sound like these totally unique, complicated things, but they're not. They are all just different recipes using the same fundamental ingredients: mass, length, and time. Seriously, think of kilograms, meters, and seconds as the official Lego bricks of the universe. Just take a look at this chart. A newton of force isn't some mystical concept. It's literally the force it takes to accelerate 1 kilogram at 1 meter per second squared. The unit is the recipe. And it's the same thing for energy, for power, everything. Once you see units this way, you start to see the hidden connections between all these different ideas. Let's break down something we all use every single day: speed. I mean, what is speed? It's just how much distance you cover in a certain amount of time. So what are the base units? Well, distance is in meters and time is in seconds. So the unit for speed has to be meters per second. That's all there is to it. You just derived a unit. Okay. Tool number 3. This one is like the physicist's secret weapon. It's a way you can look at pretty much any physics equation and spot a major problem with it before you even think about plugging in a single number. This little trick can save you so much headache. The main idea here is really simple. You can't add apples and oranges. And in physics, that means any parts of an equation that you add or subtract from each other must have the exact same base units. You can't add a distance in meters to a time in seconds. It just doesn't make sense. If the units on all the pieces don't match, the equation is just plain wrong. So let's put this awesome tool to the test. Here's the work-energy equation. First, we break down work done into its base units. Okay, that gives us kilogram meters squared per second squared. Got it. Now let's do the same for kinetic energy. We do the math and look at that, a perfect match. Okay, one more. Potential energy, and what do you know? Same thing again. Because every single term is speaking the same language of units, we can be confident this equation is physically solid. It's balanced.
This tool is so cool it can even tell us about the constants inside an equation. So check out this formula for drag force. We know the base units for force on the left side. Now let's figure out the combined units for everything else over on the right side, and when you work it out, they're exactly the same as the units for force. The equation is already perfectly balanced, which tells us something really important about that constant c. It can't have any units at all. It's just a pure number.
All right, we've got our final tool. We can estimate our answers, we can build our units, we can verify our equations. The last piece of the puzzle is just as important: communication. Once you figure something out, how do you share it so that any other scientist anywhere knows exactly what you mean? Well, you follow the grammar of physics. And here is the golden rule of that grammar. It might seem like a tiny detail, but it is absolutely critical for being clear. The symbol for a physical concept, like v for velocity, is always written in italics. But the symbol for the unit you measure it in, like meters per second, is always in regular upright type. This one little convention instantly tells you what's the idea and what's the measurement. And you can see this rule in action perfectly on the axes of this graph. The idea of velocity, the symbol v, is italic. The unit we're using, meters per second, is in plain upright type. It's a small thing that just erases any possible confusion and makes the information totally universal. It's how the pros do it. And there we have it. That completes our starter toolkit. 4 tools that really work together to shape how a physicist actually thinks. You can estimate to get your bearings, build new units to really understand the concepts, verify your equations so you know you're not making mistakes, and communicate your findings clearly. This right here is the foundation of a scientific way of thinking. Think about it. You now have this incredibly powerful professional-grade error-checking tool. You can look at almost any equation in a completely new light, which kind of makes you wonder, right? What's the first famous formula you'd want to put to the test? Maybe that big one, E equals mc squared. Thanks for joining this explainer.
Relevant keywords for this topic are shown on the screen, grouped by different examination boards. These terms need special attention during study as they are critical and should not be ignored under any condition. Along with this, past paper analysis is given for every board and type of paper. Be sure to review this thoroughly, as it will help improve your preparation significantly. Also focus on understanding the meaning and application of each keyword instead of memorizing them individually. Regular practice using these terms in past paper will increase your accuracy and exam success.
Please subscribe our channel to get more educational videos. Thank you.